The world has gone mad hunting down this Karen who caused a scene at a baseball game last week. Forget the witch hunt. The punishment is already built in.
So the basic rule is foul ball, home run, adults involved, it's a scrum, right? And it's just a fight to the finish until someone secures the ball and holds it up. Then it's their ball.
It's truly undefeated. They have been trying to find this woman. And I know she's probably waking up like, oh my gosh, what did I do? But that was your actions. And I know once they find her, she's probably gonna try to play victim and say, I didn't mean to, I'm so sorry. Ma'am, it is too late for all that.
But the other rules are, if there's a kid involved in the scrum and you're aware of it as an adult, you back off because you want the kid to get it. And if you catch a ball and it's not like, Aaron Judge's 500th career home run or something, sell for $500,000, you take the photo with it, you're happy, then you toss it to the nearest kid.
A major trading card company just put a $5,000 bounty on one woman's head. Not for robbery, not for fraud, but for snatching a baseball from a 10-year-old kid. And the twist? She has to humiliate herself publicly to collect the cash. Right now, somewhere in America, a woman in a Phillies jersey is deciding whether to take the money and admit she's sorry, or stay silent and cement her legacy as the internet's most hated villain forever. But here's what nobody's talking about. The psychological warfare behind this bounty isn't just about money. It's about breaking someone's spirit so completely that they'll pay to apologize for existing. And sources close to the situation suggest she might be cracking under the pressure. Reports are circulating about fake social media posts claiming she's planning to flee the country. The internet mob has gotten so vicious that innocent women are being wrongly accused and having their lives destroyed. Let me show you how one split-second decision at a baseball game turned into a corporate-sponsored public execution that's spiraling completely out of control. It started as the perfect father-son moment. September 6th, Marlins versus Phillies at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Harrison Bader launches a solo home run into the left field stands during the fourth inning. The ball bounces around the seats before landing near Drew Feltwell, a Phillies fan from New Jersey now living in West Palm Beach, and his 10-year-old son Lincoln, who was celebrating his birthday at the game. Drew scoops up the ball cleanly, no shoving, no drama, and slides it right into his son's tiny glove. At first I felt like Super Dad. I got the ball for him, I could walk back and put it in his glove. Drew later told NBC Philadelphia. Cameras caught that pure joy spreading across Lincoln's face. The moment when a kid realizes he's holding a piece of history. For 30 seconds, baseball looked exactly like the fairy tale it's supposed to be. Drew was already thinking about how this would be a memory they'd share forever. Lincoln was probably imagining showing the ball to his friends at school. But those same cameras were about to capture something much darker. Because storming across the section came a woman in Phillies gear, finger pointed, voice raised, body language screaming confrontation. Witnesses heard her demand, "That's my ball." The section went quiet. Other fans turned to stare. Children stopped eating their popcorn. Drew tried reasoning with her, pointing out the seats around them were mostly empty. But logic doesn't work on entitlement. The woman continued her aggressive approach, apparently believing the ball belonged to her despite clear video evidence showing Drew catching it cleanly. What happened next broke hearts across America. The woman appeared to argue with the man until he took the ball out of his son's glove and gave it to her, prompting booms from the crowd. Under the pressure of a public confrontation, with hundreds of eyes watching, and his young son getting increasingly distressed, Drew made the decision that would haunt him. He reached into Lincoln's glove, pulled out the baseball, and handed it over to the stranger. I pretty much just wanted her to go away. Still in disbelief that she walked down there like that, Drew explained later. That's when Lincoln's face changed. The pure birthday joy drained away, replaced by confusion and hurt that would soon be immortalized in viral clips. The woman allegedly smirked as she walked away with her trophy, clutching the ball like she'd won some kind of victory. The stadium erupted in a chorus of boos so loud it drowned out the ongoing game itself. Even the ushers looked stunned, unsure whether they should intervene in what appeared to be fan-on-fan harassment. Within minutes, the footage exploded across every social media platform. TikTok users added ominous soundtracks and slow-motion zooms of Lincoln's empty glove. One viral edit set the confrontation to Darth Vader's Imperial March theme. Instagram meme pages photoshopped the woman into villain costumes and compared her to comic book antagonists. Twitter threads compared her to Central Park Karen, Bagel Boss Guy, and every other viral antagonist who'd come before. But this felt different. This wasn't about privilege or racism or road rage. This was about stealing joy from a child on his birthday. That's what made it unforgivable. The internet christened her Phillies Karen within hours, and the nickname spread like wildfire. Sports commentators called it the new Bartman moment, but pointed out a crucial difference. Steve Bartman interfered with a game in 2003 that cost the Cubs a potential World Series run. This woman interfered with childhood innocence. One caller to Philadelphia Sports Radio summed up the rage perfectly. Adults can fight over baseballs all they want, but if there's a kid's glove in the picture, you walk away. End of story. The unwritten rules of baseball fandom are sacred. You don't reach across someone to grab a ball. You don't push kids out of the way. And you definitely don't confront a family and demand they hand over a souvenir. But here was a grown woman doing exactly that, and cameras captured every second of her violation of baseball etiquette. But the mob wasn't satisfied with just a nickname. They wanted blood. Reddit detectives launched a full-scale investigation, creating entire subreddits dedicated to identifying her. Users froze video frames, enhanced blurry screenshots, analyzed her clothing and jewelry for clues. They studied her facial features, tried to match her voice to social media videos, and even analyzed her walking pattern. Rumors spread that she worked at a New Jersey school. Others claimed they'd spotted her switching team jerseys at previous games. The line between fact and fiction blurred as the internet's army of amateur investigators dug deeper into their conspiracy theories. The digital manhunt became a feeding frenzy. Anonymous accounts shared alleged photos of her at other games. Users claimed to have identified her car in stadium parking lots. Some even posted what they believed were her social media profiles, home addresses, and workplace information. The investigation had turned from justice-seeking into full-scale doxing, and nobody seemed concerned about the consequences. The collateral damage was immediate and brutal. At least 2 innocent women were wrongly identified and forced to publicly deny they were the Phillies Karen. The Hamilton School District in New Jersey had to post a statement on Facebook saying the woman in question has never been an employee there. One wrongly accused woman had to post on Facebook joking that she'd love to be that thin and move that fast, but it wasn't her. Another was so harassed that her employer had to release a statement clearing her name. The internet had turned detective work into a witch hunt, and nobody was safe from suspicion. School districts that had never heard of the incident were getting flooded with calls demanding they fire employees who weren't even involved. Innocent women with similar appearances were afraid to leave their homes. The mob's thirst for justice had turned into a weapon of mass destruction, hitting random targets with no regard for truth or accuracy. Meanwhile, the baseball world scrambled to fix the narrative. The Marlins acted first, recognizing they had a PR nightmare on their hands. Staff members rushed to Lincoln's section with bags of team merchandise during the same game. Jerseys, hats, bobbleheads, everything they could carry. The crowd cheered louder for that gesture than they had for the home run itself. It was damage control in real time, and it worked. Social media posts praised the Marlins for stepping up when it mattered. But the Phillies weren't about to let Miami steal the spotlight. This was their fan causing the problem, so they needed to be part of the solution. After the game, they escorted Lincoln into the clubhouse for a private meeting with Harrison Bader himself, the player whose home run had started the whole mess. Complete with a signed bat and carefully orchestrated photo opportunities, the meet and greet was designed to create positive headlines and wash away the negative ones. The corporate world smelled opportunity in the outrage. Marcus Lemonis, CEO of Camping World, recognized a marketing goldmine when he saw one. He announced on social media that he was sending the Feltwell family to the World Series, all expenses paid, plus a brand new RV to sweeten the deal. Screenshots of his tweet went viral, with fans joking that Lincoln had traded a baseball for a road trip fantasy. The gesture was generous, but it was also brilliant marketing. Camping World's name was now attached to every story about the incident, generating millions of dollars in free publicity. Other companies wanted in on the action. Sporting goods stores offered free equipment. Restaurant chains invited the family for meals. Hotels offered free stays. What had started as one woman's bad behavior had become a corporate feeding frenzy, with businesses competing to associate their brands with the sympathetic victims. But the most shocking move was yet to come. Blowout Cards, a major trading card retailer, made an offer that sent shockwaves through the sports world. They publicly offered Phillies Karen $5,000 for the baseball, but only under one humiliating condition. She had to sign it with the words "I'm sorry" in her own handwriting before they'd pay up. The company made it clear on their website, "Our offer is official and the offer is firm." The ball would be returned to Lincoln once they had her written apology. This wasn't just about baseball memorabilia. This was psychological warfare disguised as business. The bounty wasn't designed to buy a ball. It was designed to break a human being so completely that they'd pay to humiliate themselves on a national stage. Cultural critics called it genius marketing. Others called it cruel and unusual punishment. But everyone agreed it was unprecedented. A major corporation had literally put a price on public shame, and they were treating it like a publicity stunt. The terms of the offer were specifically crafted to maximize humiliation. Not just "sorry, but I'm sorry" in her own handwriting, making it personal and permanent. The company knew the real value wasn't in getting the ball back. It was in the months of free publicity they'd get from making the offer. Every news story, every social media post, every YouTube video about the incident would mention blowout cards. They'd turned her misery into a marketing campaign. The silence that followed was deafening. While Lincoln basked in his newfound celebrity, meeting players and collecting free gear, the woman at the center of it all vanished completely. No interviews, no social media posts, no public statements. Drew said that he just wanted the woman to go away. He added that he did not want to do anything in front of his children that would make the situation worse, but his restraint hadn't been returned. Some speculated she was hiding in plain sight, maybe even attending other games in disguise. Others believed she was laying low, hoping the storm would pass. But in 2025, silence isn't neutral. It's gasoline on the fire. Every day without a statement only made the internet angrier and more determined to find her. Viral Facebook posts claimed that the Phillies Karen supposedly shared that she would leave the country due to the backlash, but these turned out to be fake news designed to generate more outrage. The fact that people were creating fictional statements from her showed just how desperate the internet was for any kind of response. When reality wasn't satisfying enough, they started inventing their own. Reports began surfacing of additional confrontations from the same game. Cell phone footage allegedly showed her in heated arguments with other fans earlier in the evening, suggesting the baseball incident wasn't isolated, but part of a pattern. Social media users claimed they'd spotted her at previous games, always involved in some kind of dispute. The narrative shifted from one bad moment to a serial troublemaker finally getting caught on camera. Anonymous sources claimed she'd been banned from multiple stadiums. Others said she was known among season ticket holders for aggressive behavior. Whether these stories were true or fabricated didn't matter anymore. The internet had decided she was guilty of everything, and every new accusation was treated as fact. The psychological pressure must be immense. Imagine waking up every day to thousands of strangers calling you the most hated woman in America. Imagine your friends and family asking if you're really that person from the video. Imagine knowing that $5,000 and a simple apology could make it all go away, but your pride won't let you take the deal. Sources suggest she's received death threats, had her personal information leaked, and been forced to change her daily routine to avoid recognition. The mental toll of internet infamy is well documented. Past viral villains have reported depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. Some have had to move, change jobs, or completely reinvent their lives. The woman behind the Phillies Karen nickname is facing all of this pressure while trying to decide whether swallowing her pride is worth $5,000. But here's the twisted psychology at work. Blowout Cards knows she probably won't take the deal. The real value isn't in getting the ball back. It's in the marketing brilliance of making the offer. Every day she stays silent, their brand gets mentioned in news stories, social media posts, and YouTube videos. They've turned her suffering into a months-long advertising campaign, and it's working perfectly. The bounty offer sits like a sword hanging over her head. Every day she doesn't take it, the story grows bigger. Late-night talk show hosts make jokes at her expense. Sports commentators use her as an example of bad fan behavior. Parenting blogs analyze what Drew should have done differently. She's become a case study in viral infamy, a cautionary tale about how one moment of selfishness can destroy a life. The broader implications are terrifying. We've created a society where corporations can weaponize public shame for profit, where a trading card company can put a bounty on someone's head and call it business, where the internet's mob justice is so predictable that companies can plan marketing campaigns around it. Phillies Karen isn't just a viral villain anymore. She's a product, and her suffering is the price of engagement. Lincoln, meanwhile, has been transformed from victim to celebrity. Lincoln admitted he wasn't very happy his dad handed the souvenir over in his first interview, but his quiet dignity in the face of disappointment has made him an internet hero. His birthday nightmare became a fairy tale ending, complete with corporate sponsors and celebrity treatment. Every moment around my kids is a potential teaching moment, so I tried to keep that mentality, and I guess that shined through, Drew explained to NBC. The irony is obvious. It took losing to win. Without Phillies Karen's intervention, Lincoln would have gone home with just a baseball. Instead, he's got signed memorabilia, a World Series trip, an RV, and a story that will follow him for life. He's been invited to throw out first pitches, appears in news interviews, and has become a symbol of childhood innocence violated and then restored. We ended up having a good night because of good people, Drew said, before noting he and his family would still accept an apology from the woman if she came forward. Even after everything, the family is willing to forgive. But forgiveness requires acknowledgement, and she's given them nothing but silence. Two paths remain for the woman hiding behind the nickname. She can swallow her pride, sign the ball "I'm sorry," collect her $5,000, and hope the internet eventually forgives her. The money would be nice, but the humiliation would be permanent. Every future employer, every potential relationship, every new neighbor would be able to Google her name and find the video of her public apology. Or she can stay silent, keep the ball, and accept her role as a permanent villain in America's collective memory. The silent strategy might preserve some dignity, but it confirms guilt in the court of public opinion. Without her side of the story, the internet will continue inventing increasingly dramatic versions of what happened and why. Both choices come with devastating consequences. The apology admits guilt and weakness, but might eventually lead to forgiveness. The silence confirms guilt and defiance, but preserves some measure of personal dignity. It's a decision that will define the rest of her life, and she has to make it while hiding from a mob that wants to destroy her. The clock is ticking on one of the strangest standoffs in sports history. A woman, a baseball, and a bounty that's really about much more than money. It's about power, pride, and the price of being human in the age of viral justice. The internet has already moved on to new controversies, new villains, new targets. But for her, this moment is frozen in time, playing on loop forever. Whatever she decides, her choice will echo through every future fan controversy, setting the precedent for how far the internet mob will go and how much corporations will pay to profit from the chaos. She's become an unwilling pioneer in the monetization of public shame, and her decision will influence how similar situations are handled for years to come. The really terrifying part is how quickly this could happen to anyone. One moment of poor judgment, one camera phone, one viral clip, and your life as you know it is over. The woman who became Phillies Karen went to a baseball game and came home as America's most hated person. She thought she was fighting for a baseball. She was actually signing up for psychological torture. So what happens next? Does Phillies Karen break under the pressure and take the deal, giving blowout cards the marketing victory they're really after? Does she disappear forever, leaving the internet to wonder what became of their favorite villain? Does she surprise everyone with a tell-all interview that flips the narrative completely? Or does someone else step into the spotlight, giving the mob a fresh target to destroy? One thing's certain, the next viral villain is just one foul ball away from discovering that in 2025, 15 minutes of fame can cost you everything else. The internet never forgets, never forgives, and never stops hunting. And somewhere out there, Phillies Karen is learning that lesson the hardest way possible, one silent day at a time. The woman who wanted a baseball ended up with something much more valuable and infinitely more destructive, a permanent place in internet history. And unlike Lincoln, who got his happy ending, her story doesn't have a conclusion yet. She's still living it, still hiding from it, still trying to figure out if $5,000 is enough to buy back a normal life. The answer is probably no. But the internet is betting she'll find out the hard way.